And welcome to the first in a series of Rowdy.com's look at your preseason top 20. Your preseason top 20 as defined in this fine publication, NASCAR Illustrated. A bunch of us, Jeff Owens, myself, and many other people voted, and those votes were averaged to determine the top 20. I'm Buzz Cutler, Jeff Owens, editor of SceneDaily.com. We're going to start this off by talking about AJ Allmendinger. He came in at number 20, according to NASCAR Illustrated. I think I might have had him slightly higher. He's one of those guys that seems to be on the rise. It was almost as if when Casey Kane left, all of a sudden AJ Allmendinger was getting some of the good stuff that they were saving for Casey, and you saw him starting to improve, didn't you?
He showed some real flashes last year. I think he was probably one of the most improved drivers out there. I mean, we saw him several times at the end of the season running up front. I think he had the race at Dover where he led 143 laps and had an opportunity to win that race. And then we saw him finish in the top 10 a few other times. He finished the season in the top 5 at Homestead. So he made a lot of progress throughout the season. Richard Petty Motorsports improved a great deal, and they really stepped up and finished the season strong despite all the turmoil they were going through at the time. So I think that says a lot for that organization, and I think AJ Allmendinger showed a lot of promise as a driver last year, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him keep that going this year and possibly even win a race somewhere.
It's interesting because Richard Petty, you can't talk about AJ Allmendinger without talking about Richard Petty Motorsports and all they went through. So they've gone from 4 teams down to 2.
Right.
They've also added Marcus Ambrose. I find it interesting that Marcus and AJ both have different backgrounds. They came out of different series, and I'm wondering how their relationship might benefit them both, sort of they can talk in terms of non-NASCAR type approaches.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, different backgrounds, and then they've got probably the ultimate stock car driver of all time in Richard Petty that they can learn a lot of things from. But I think that's probably good. I mean, I think they can each bring something to the table about racing and different tracks and different setups and things like that to help each other. And then you got Petty there kind of giving it all a little bit of perspective. So I think that's a very interesting team there. I mean, you've got a couple of interesting guys that haven't won yet but have shown a lot of promise. Ambrose has almost won a couple of road course races. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see him win one this year. Allmendinger has been up front. I think that's an up-and-coming team, particularly with the resources they've got now. You know, they took on a couple of investors that have pumped some money into that team. Petty is in charge of it completely now. They've got some good people over there. It's going to be real interesting. I think they're probably one of the most interesting teams out there this year to see what they can do, because they've got Roush equipment. They got good Ford engines, a couple of promising drivers. I think they're a very intriguing team.
You mentioned resources, and a couple of weeks ago we were at the NASCAR Media Tour, and they had the most present sponsorship of any team we went to. Both Stanley and Best Buy, they got up, they spoke to the media corps. Their sponsors were there. They were integrated. They were part of the message and part of the team. And that was very interesting to me in a way that you didn't see at other teams.
Yeah, I mean, that showed a lot of loyalty and really support from their sponsors. And that's really good given what that organization went through, because there was a question at one point whether they would even survive and whether they would even be back this year. Allmendinger and Ambrose both feared that they might be out of a ride. Once they brought in some capital and realized they were going to be able to continue, there was a question about whether or not the sponsors were going to be with them. And Stanley was still there. Best Buy had to re-sign, and they did that. And I think that was a real vote of confidence for Petty and the whole organization. So they're in pretty good shape right now.
And with Roush, you have to expect they're riding their ship a little bit. Everybody's now got the FR9. That transition is over. So Ford, just in general, seems like they might be in a slightly better place in 2011 than they were in 2010.
I think so. You know, I think they benefited from that Ford engine last year. And one of the things I think that should help both organizations is that they both improved by helping each other. You know, RPM gets their stuff from Roush. Roush, and that helped them a great deal. But Roush benefited from RPM last year. They found some things with the chassis and the suspension and that kind of stuff that really helped them later in the year. So they're definitely working together, and I think that's good. I think Roush is going to be back for a big season, and I wouldn't be surprised if RPM is one of the biggest surprises out there.
All right, well, NASCAR Illustrated put AJ Allmendinger in at 20th. That strikes me as a little low. Does it seem right to you, or would you put him higher up in that finishing order?
I think it's about right, given what he's done and where the organization is. I mean, there's still questions. There's a lot of optimism and a lot of enthusiasm, but it's still basically a new organization, and they're going to have to sort of find themselves early in the year and try to sustain the momentum that they had last season. Given the competition, I think that's about right, but it would not surprise me at all to see him win a race and maybe be up there around the top 15 challenging for a spot in the chase. And of course, they've changed the rule now. If he can win a race, he's in chase contention.
That's right. He could get that wild card berth. All right, Jeff Owens from SceneDaily.com. I'm Buzz Cutler from Rowdy.com. That is our first driver in the top 20, the preseason top 20 as defined by NASCAR Illustrated. We've got 19 more of these things to go. And don't worry, Jeff, you don't have to do all 19. We're going to be switching it around. So stop back by tomorrow, check them out, and thanks for watching.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.